Hey, it's Edna White. I'm so glad you're with me today. Do you know who you are? Do you know what you want? Well, today we're going to be talking about how to rediscover your true self in your life, in your relationships, and at work. Now, I know you've heard this saying all the time. It's how we really lose sight because everything is so fast paced, right? We truly lose ourselves amidst any demands, all personal relationships, and work. We just get lost in the shuffle. Today, I'm going to help you explore ways on how you can reconnect with your authentic self, create meaningful boundaries, and align your values and actions. Yeah, I did say actions because sometimes your actions do not line up with what you're saying. So let's get started. I'm going to tell you a story about myself. Back maybe 10 years, 10, 15 years ago, maybe in there. There was times when I was saying yes to everyone and everything. My friends, my family, I never had a boss, but people who were my team managers or supervisors, even strangers. I thought being the person who could do it all made me valuable. But something was off. I was miserable. I started to notice little things. I was always tired, snapped at people in my family, snapped at, my friends over small things. And speaking with so much passion, even though whatever I was saying was right, but it was communicated wrong. And even losing passion for my hobbies that I once loved. So one day I sat down and I was doing a project that used to light me up. I think this was on when I was working in the last few years. But I sat down and I was doing something that used to light me up at doing. And I just sat there and stared like I was stuck, feeling like I was empty. That's when it hit me. I couldn't even recognize myself anymore. I had become so consumed with meeting everyone else's expectations that I'd lost touch of who I was and what I wanted. I realized hadn't asked myself a simple question in a long time. What makes me happy? So I started out small, and I blocked out time on my calendar for myself, even if it was just 15 minutes to journal or to go on a walk. I said no with a period to things that didn't align with my priorities, even when I felt uncomfortable. Slowly, I started to feel more like myself again. And something amazing happened. The people who truly cared about me respected my boundaries. And became a lot better at showing up for them because I wasn't depleted. That journey taught me that finding your sense of self isn't about a big dramatic reinvention. It's about peeling back the layers of expectations, reconnecting with what you feel is true for you, and giving yourself permission to honor that. That's just that simple. That's all you have to do, right? When was the last time you felt comfortably in tune with who you are? I'll wait. You can raise your hand, comment below. What are you going to do? Feel in tune with yourself? Raise your hand down below. But in the meantime, we're going to move towards number one, understanding your sense of self. What is it? What is self? Self is identifying with who you are fluidly across every point of life, financially, physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually. The flow. If you feel you have to work extra hard at it, that's not your true self. If you feel you're not doing enough and you're just saying, whatever, that's not your true self. Actually, it's a sign of you being depressed. But I digress. The impact of this disconnection for your job, for your life, for you, it brings about a change in you because you don't connect with people all the way. You don't connect with them, no matter what it is. You could be saying something and it's so disconnected, so dry, so uncaring, because you are not identifying with your true self. You know how you have those people in their lives, right? In your life that not really sure who they are, where they came from, and just pretending. We've done it too. I know I've done it for years. I was coding in real estate until I realized, I am who I am. And I just started doing that. So connecting with you, when you're feeling disconnected, that's a big, big thing. But what's the benefits of rediscovering yourself? Increased clarity, strong relationships, and greater fulfillment. So you don't have to fake at work. You don't have to fake liking anybody and say, I don't like how you're acting. Can we talk about that? And it'll be coming from a genuine place. And guess what? It'll be received. But when you're like, I don't like how you acting, won't be received because you're in your emotions. But that's another subject. We'll get to that. Number 2, reconnect in personal life. When you start to practice self-reflection, and that's a great tool because it comes in so many facets, like journaling, mindfulness, like honestly taking note of what triggers you, taking note of how you act, taking notes of what feels different in you, taking note when you get emotional, where it is in your body that it sits, and asking yourself, what do I really want? Oh, that's heavy. It's a heavy question. That was a heavy question for me. And that's why I wrote that book, The Big Ask. You got to get that book because that book has every question that you need to ask yourself to be clear on who you are. The third thing is align actions with values. Your actions have got to be aligned with your values. So your values are inward. What do you believe in? What do you respect? All of those things are in you, right? So you line up with them. But if you're saying one thing out of your mouth, one thing is we should be healthy, and you're telling everyone else to be healthy, or you're telling we should not hurt anybody, or we should not murder, or whatever, and we're murdering somebody with our tongue, or we're judging somebody. All of that has to line up. Practice self-reflection. And I say to a lot of my clients who are coaches, and they want to be in specific areas, and I said, just because you experience it doesn't mean you have to teach it, because you're still peeling away things. So you got to make sure that you're ready, because this could trigger you. Hearing somebody else's story could trigger you. So make sure that you're ready. Just because you've experienced it doesn't mean you have to teach it. Doesn't mean it. Doesn't mean you have to coach somebody through it. When you're coaching somebody, you're not being a therapist. You're moving them forward out of the mess. A therapist works with all of that in the past, so you can move forward. And then they kind of like a relay. They kind of hand you off to someone like me, and we move forward and create a strategy on how to move forward and create a plan on how to move forward, right? So make sure you're asking yourself, what do I really want? Journaling, mindfulness, and asking that great question, what do I really want? No matter what the situation, you're sitting at work, you don't like your job, what do I really want? Why is the universe ambiguous in giving me what I want? Because I don't know what I want. and I'm not willing to go after it. I want it to come to me. That's what you're telling the universe, but it doesn't work that way. Actions, and you have to know what you want. 2, set personal boundaries. Explain how boundaries are necessary in your life to the people that are stepping over the boundaries. That will help you be your authentic self, because when you're doing something you don't want to do and you're saying yes even though you mean no, it's so fake. Just saying. Because in the back of your head, maybe in your mouth or even in the car, you're saying, I don't really want to take them there. But you do. So make sure you set those boundaries and say, no, I'm not doing that. Or no, that's a good one, period. 3, align your actions with your values. Again, right? Small, actionable changes to honor what matters most to you. That's a great word. Small, actionable changes to honor what matters to you. Honor. So if you're doing something that doesn't honor you, or if you're tired and you're going to an event, and you're completely tired, and you rush to the event just because you said you were to go, are you honoring you? No, you're actually pushing your self-worth down. So if you're tired, say, no, I'm not going to go today. I don't even apologize. I can't, I'm tired. And you don't go. And you honor yourself. That's a great boundary, don't you think? Okay. Strategy 3. Strengthen yourself in relationships. When you're in a relationship, whether it be platonic, friendship, familial, or romantic, know your worth. Don't go into a relationship half-cocked. I've done that a couple of times. I've gone into relationships with no self-esteem. Just because they said I was cute, I started liking them. And then come to find out they were the worst people ever. Because I didn't get any love from who I supposed to have gotten love from. To my caretakers, the proper love and the attention. Anyone's attention would have been great. Know your worth. Your self-esteem has to be intact when you are being friends with folks, when you are being in a family, when you are in a romantic relationship or dating. You have got to have your own self-esteem and that helps you build healthy connections, because you know who you are, and you don't have to accept a little bit. You don't have to bring your standards down. Now, when I say standards, I don't mean, oh, yeah, I want a millionaire, I want this, I want that. I don't mean that. Be who you ask for. How about that? If you are a reflection of what you want, be that. Don't ask for something that you're not. Just saying. 2, communicate authentically. Honest communication without fear or judgment is where I always come from. I've learned to just come from that space, and it's received. It's received. I don't, I'm not said that I'm aggressive or passionate or I'm, being forceful. No, I say it the way it comes from a good space. I remember one time I was in Macy's and I was shopping, and I think this is when I was modeling for Vogue at the time, and the stop was in Melville, and I had to get the bus. I was on the bus, and I had to get on the bus there, and so I remember going to Macy's, going shopping, and a lady walked up to me. She had this purple dress on. She had red hair, and she, red hair like Lucille Ball. And so she walks up to me and she goes, "How do I look?" So I said, "Well, purple's not your color because you have red hair. Green would really look nice on you, and a royal blue would be great." She looked at me. "Do you work here?" I said, "No," and I walked away. But I communicated authentically, and she goes, "You might be right." And then I walked over and I said, "This dress will look cute on you." She tried it on, and I had walked away in another department. She said, "I decided to get the dress you suggested." Right? She made an assumption, but I was able to communicate correctly. I could have said, "Girl, I don't work here." but I didn't communicate it effectively. Embrace interdependence. There's a balance between giving and maintaining your individuality. Embrace your uniqueness. If people say you're quirky, they're quirky too in their own way. They're just being judgmental. But there's balance between giving and maintaining your individuality. There's just embrace that. Embrace that you are who you are. Not that you're different. None of that stuff. Just embrace it. That you are who you are. Okay, number 4 now. Thriving in the workplace. You have to define your professional identity. Align your career goals with your core values. So when you're going to get a job, make sure those core values are intact before you go and start in a career so that you're not unhappy. Define your professional identity. Who are you in this profession, in this workplace? Who are you? What do you represent? What are you going to bring to the table? So when you go there, it's going to be better than it was when you received it. Align your career goals with your core values. 2, stand firm with integrity. One thing I know that I do try to strive for every day is integrity. If I'm going to be late, I'm texting somebody and I'm going to say, thank you for waiting for me. If I am not going to be able to make it, I'm going to make sure I can't make it. I know I can't make it. So we're not even going to go that route. Make sure you maintain your integrity. Be true. Do what you do, say what you're going to do. That's it. That's it. It builds respect and resilience. And the third one, navigate your challenges. There are going to be challenges for you, conflict, right? You have to address it. You can't just walk away from it like you're at a playground. You're an adult, right? So you gotta be able to address conflict with effective communication and without emotion and still maintain authenticity. You have to navigate those things in the workplace. Why? Because your authentic self is necessary. So what are we taking away from this? Self-awareness, boundaries, authenticity. And one thing I'm going to encourage you to do is ask yourself, what one small step can you take today to reconnect to your true self? When you show up as your authentic self, the world meets you with its best opportunities. If you need help with any of these things and you struggle or you even have a question, you can click my bio and I will definitely talk to you about it. I hope I said something today that really helped you. This is Edna White saying bye for now.